This is Dale with Backyard Bees. Today is Wednesday, February the 26th. It's just a little bit past 8:30 a.m. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Ocala, Florida. And looks like it's going to be a nice day. It's supposed to get cold tomorrow though. So I wanted to get out here and go through a few of my beehives. I put queen cage with queens in them, and this hive right here, these two hives, and then that one over there has a queen cell, and that one over there is a walkaway split. So I'm going to do an inspection on these, and I'll video some of it as I go. I got my smoker lit, and I'm going to open up this hive right here. I'm going to come around to the front, give them a little smoke, give them a little smoke underneath, and open up the hive. There's bees in there, as you can see. Got a cold lizard right there. I'm gonna knock him off. He's up there trying to get warm, I guess. So yeah, there's a queen in there. So let's see if they got her out and if she's laying any eggs or not. I don't know if you can see right down in there is that queen cage. So I'm gonna smoke these girls a little bit, and I'm gonna open up this, well, here's the frame with the hive, the queen in it. So just wanna make sure these girls don't get too aggressive. I'm gonna take it easy, opening this one up, and move it over. There's the queen cage. Get the bees off of it. Reach in there and pull it off. Let's see what we got. Yep, the queen has been released. See, there'll be a piece of bee candy in the bottom there, and that seals the queen inside the cage. And when you insert this into the hive, the bees will eat that bee candy out of there to release that queen, and then it takes 2 or 3 days for them to do that. So it gives them time to get used to the queen before she's released into the hive. That's a standard practice. It just helps the bees orient to the queen. Gives them time to get used to her, and keeps them from attacking her and wanting to destroy her. But this hive went, I don't know, a couple of weeks without a queen. It had a queen cell or two in there. So I took the queen cell out when I introduced the queen, and I put it over there in that hive. We're going to check that in just a little bit. Okay, this is the next frame over from where I had the queen cell installed, and as you can see, there's lots of pollen in there. Pollen is good because they store that up to feed the brood, the baby bees, when they hatch. So yeah, that's a good sign. Okay, there's more pollen on the next frame. As you can see, they got yellow and some brown in there. But the other side of the frame is covered with bees. They are furiously putting pollen in the cells there. So that's a good sign also. I'll continue. Okay, I'm back. I don't know if you can see her, but right there on the top is the queen. She is right in the middle there. So I also saw eggs in here. So she is out of the cage. She is laying, and the hive looks healthy. They've got pollen in there. I'm just going to see if they have any honey or not. I may need to give them some sugar water if they don't have any other resources. But I noticed yesterday when I was out here, and they now have foragers. But I'm not seeing any honey. I'm seeing lots of pollen, but they are a new hive. This is a split that I introduced the queen into. And so I'm going to check them out, and if they need the resources, I will give them sugar water. One other note to make is that brood that's underneath the bees there is brood out of the split when I split this hive. And then I came back out here last week when I introduced the queen. I put some more brood out of another hive in there just to make sure that they had some resources and new bees that would hatch, just to build them up a little bit. But I am going to give them some sugar water. I saw a little bit of nectar that they had brought in the last few days, but not much. But they do have some brood. There's a whole frame full right there. And again, I did see eggs that the new queen is laying, so she's out and doing her thing. I just need to give them a little boost. Okay, I replaced all the frames in the hive. I did verify that there are plenty of eggs in there. I do need to give them some sugar water and a pollen patty just to help them get started here. I may even take some bees out of another hive, probably this one right there, and put in there. We'll see. I'm going to continue on with the inspections. This one also had a queen introduced into it. I'm going to pull that one apart and take a look. So let's see. There's a few bees in there. Might have to supplement these girls too with some more bees. They're pretty light. This was just a split where I took a few frames out of another hive and put in there. There's some drawn comb. I see bees crawling up to the top there, so give them a little smoke, run them back down in there. There's bees. Yeah, so there's plenty of drawn comb in this hive. In this nuke, there's some nectar in there, as you can see, so they're bringing in nectar. I may not have to give them any resources, but I'm getting down to that queen here in just a minute. There's the queen cage down in there, as you can see. And let's see, what do we have here? Yep, she's out of the cage. That's an empty cage right there. Again, bee candy's been eaten out by the bees. They released her into the hive, so she should be good. Okay, I have not found the queen in this hive. I know she's hatched. She's out of the cage, and I don't know if you can see it, but right down in there are eggs in there. So she has laid eggs. Quite a few, actually. They're just really hard to see. They're very small. I don't know if you can see them on this camera or not. Anyways, I'm going to put this back together, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. I put this hive back together, checked again, so I did for sure see eggs, and still didn't find the queen. I know she's in there. She's been laying the last day or two. But there's plenty of brood in there right now, and they're bringing in nectar and pollen, so I may or may not supplement these bees. It depends on what the population looks like in a couple of other hives that I'm going to look at. But I think they'll be okay just like they are. I might just leave them and see how they do on their own, just watch them a little bit and see, just in case they need help. But there are some foragers in this, and in this hive, they're starting to bring pollen and nectar, so I'll move on to this hive over here. This one has a queen cell in it, and I want to check and see if that cell has hatched or not. I'm going to open up this nuke, this hive, and see if they have hatched a queen cell that was in here or not. Doesn't seem to be many bees in there. I had a problem with this hive. I think it actually swarmed a while back, and I was trying to save it. I put some extra bees in there, a queen cell, and tried to save this hive. It may not. There's some bees in there. Not sure how they're doing though, but we'll check them out. Again, these are splits that I'm trying to build up and keep alive. I may have split them a little bit too early, but I'm still learning, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull this apart. Hopefully we've got a hatched queen cell in there, a hatched queen. We shall see. Drawn comb. This is a comb out of a honey super that the queen had gotten up in there and laid, and moved it over to a regular deep box, and they see where they've drawn out the bottom. So that's solid wax down there on the bottom. So yeah, there's more drawn comb, very few bees. I'm still going to work on trying to save this hive. Like I said, I believe it swarmed. a while back, and I put some bees and brood in there and a queen cell. So trying to save them. We'll see if they have or not. There's the queen cells, one of them. There's one that's not viable. Not seeing much right now going on. Not very many bees. I think these are just the bees left over that I put in there a while back. So I'm gonna stop the camera for now and go through and inspect here, and if I see anything worth reporting on, I'll come back. Okay, I'm back. There's a queen right there. I don't know if you can see her. She's running, but there is a queen in there, and I can't tell if she's mated or not. She's awful small, and she's not, she may not be mated yet. So I'm gonna put this back together, but there are some hatched queen cells in here. And as you can see right there, there's 2 or 3 of them that hatched. I know at least one of them hatched. The bottoms, because there's a queen in here. The bottoms have been torn out. There's a queen in there, and she may not be mated yet, so I'm gonna put this hive back together and leave it alone for a few days. I'll be back in a minute. That was good to see a queen in there. May have to add some bees to them, but I'll pull some brood out of another hive and put in there, give them a little boost for sure. I'm gonna go on to this next one. This one is a walkaway split. Was a walkaway split, and I believe they probably made a new queen themselves. So I'm going to open this hive up and see what's inside there. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, I know this hive's been awful busy. So like I said, I think maybe either they have a mated queen and she went out, got mated, came back and brought a bunch of bees back with her. Look at that. These girls are just about ready to come out of that hive. I stirred them up just enough to make it happen. So they're awful loud though. I don't know if you can hear them. Lots of bees flying around too. So gotta be careful with this one. I don't have any gloves on. So pull this first frame out here. See what is going on. I should have brought my frame holder, my frame extractor. I could have done this with one hand. A little bit of pollen going in there. There's yeah, not sure what's going on here. Have to continue on here and take a look. This is a frame of brood that I put in there from another hive a while back, and you can see that is a perfect brood pattern. You got honey around the sides, on the corners, across the top in an arch. You got some pollen there, and then we've got brood, and it's the same on both sides. So that brood's going to hatch pretty soon, and hopefully this will be a good hive. I still haven't seen a queen yet or a queen cell. I'm going to continue on. Well, I still have not found a queen in here, but right there is a queen cup, a queen cell, and in it there is a larvae with some royal jelly in there, so it looks like they're trying to make a queen out of that. We'll have to see what happens. I have to keep an eye on this hive. It's been several days since I put eggs in here for them to make a queen, and I'm not seeing one. Okay, here's another queen cell on the last frame. Actually, there's 2 in there. This one has a larvae in it, as you can see, so that'll be a good queen cell. That other one too. This one doesn't really have anything in it as far as I can see. Yeah, maybe one in there. It looks like they put royal jelly in there anyways. Again, these are frames that had eggs in them that I took out of another hive and put in here just for this purpose, so that they could make their own queen. But I thought by now they would have already done it, but they're on their own timetable. So I'm going to go ahead and put this hive back together and end this for today. The rest of the hives out here I just inspected not long ago. I just wanted to come through and check on the splits and the queens and the queen cells. So yeah, that's it for today. This is Dale with Backyard Bees.